Hi, just a quick look back at Tesla's liquidity and how that's affected share price. I'm just looking here at a 3 hour. Having a look at there's three different indicators here. A time lag one with the fattest line being the current surface liquidity through to the thinnest line, being looking back 1500 periods. Then the next one down is a irregular liquidity, which normalizes today's liquidity compared to the last three trading weeks, giving it 15 days of normalization. And then liquidity sentiment, which gives us a look at the whole liquidity and how relatively tight it is compared to previous periods. So you can see this is a very tight period when we had a lot of accumulation going into the election. And then we've had a loosening period. Now, because we're looking at surface liquidity in a lot of these situations, it's really quite hard to see. This looks like it's selling. It definitely was selling. But then we've had bouncing around surface liquidity, which still had a lot of buying in it. If we then go and have a look at the current period, we can see the Trump falls out of favour here in about May, and then it's been going sideways since. So what's driving its price increase here, and what does it look close to the surface? Well, close to the surface, we can see a couple of things. We can see that it had a big part to do in driving the price going into the bump last Friday, and also we could see that there was quite a good buying period around the middle of August. I think that maybe the whole market thought it was going to get a bump higher going into the OPEX on the 15th, Friday the 15th. But it was a good, strong buying as I would say, new funds were taking positions in Tesla, which has made Tesla a very strong stock over the last 2 weeks. If we just go and have a look at interesting the last earnings just shows you how important liquidity is to earnings. We can see the earnings really here in the 1 hour is in a sell period. It's selling. This selling period is going to be mainly to do with options, and the selling is the market makers hedging. So as a lot of option positions were taken, the market makers say on a Delta 1 option, they would hedge out 50% of that. And so they would be selling the underlying, 50% of the underlying to hedge that movement around the at the money. This causes very large movements in earnings. Let's just have a look at closer how these trades were. I think that the last couple of trades are very interesting. Both today was very tradable, and the Friday, the Thursday evening. If we were watching this live, we would have seen the first Thursday afternoon that we had a lot of buying. Now, worst scenario is that the Jackson Hole event didn't happen, but we could have gone and looked, and we could have seen that as a whole. This is a regular liquidity for a grouping called the Mag 7. We've got groupings here of studies that we've put together, or indicators that we've put together, studies of different tickers that we've put together. It shows you that there was a lot of buying into that event. So we could have seen that we're going to get a very large bump up on that Friday, and I traded that bottom. It was a very successful bottom. Since then has been more difficult. Probably not if you had been trading in Tesla. Tesla shows you here again, its buying is so strong that we've had selling or hedging in most of the Mag 7, but Tesla has been buying very strongly today. It's had an increasingly strong day and it had a very, very tradable bottom here. If we went in even closer and we looked, say, in the 2 minutes, we could see that there was a couple of soft periods, but really the centre of it stayed and didn't go too high. So even though there might have been a little pullback, you might have been in and out very momentarily. But if you stayed out there at that 5 minutes, you would have just stayed in the trade. You would have entered that trade at some stage, sometime around 2 o'clock today, and you would have gained. Let's just have a look in percentage terms. What it did gain from 2 o'clock. It was up about 1% or 1.5%. Very good trade for the day, with a little bit of leverage. Anyway, I hope that that shows you how liquidity and Tesla work very well together. Have a good day's trading tomorrow, the 27th of August.